led the opposition to the Iraq war, and he did so proudly. That was a counterproductive and illegal war, and Daesh is a consequence of that foolish decision taken then. But Charles Kennedy was also right in calling in the 1990s for intervention in Bosnia, military intervention, to end a genocide there. So I am proud of Charles on both counts. My instincts, like other people's instincts, are always to be anti-war and anti-conflict. In automatic instincts, bound to be, in many cases, that we should go straight in and react straight away. Others will say, under no terms, not in my name, should there ever be intervention. It is right to look at a question like this through the prism of what is humanitarian, what is internationalist, what is liberal, what is right, what will be effective. So I set out 5 principles that I put to the Prime Minister, and in the time I've got available, I won't go into all of them here, but you know of my availability on the website. You can go and have a look at them and find out my sense is very clearly that on balance, any reasonable person would judge them to have been broadly met. But my sense, I will give way.
Would the honourable member confirm that, unlike the leader of the opposition, he and his party supported airstrikes against Daesh in Iraq, and that today's vote is about extending those airstrikes across the border that Daesh themselves don't recognise into Syria to degrade the Daesh so far as possible?
I'm happy to confirm that. I mean, the reality is, though, today, for me, and for probably many other people here as well, has been one of the toughest decisions, if not the toughest decision, I've had to take in my time in this place. I will say that the 5 broad principles that we set out have been broadly met, but I will not give unconditional support to the government as I vote with them, as I intend to do tonight, because there are huge questions on the financing of Daesh from states such as Turkey and the trade that is going on there. There are huge questions about the protection of civilians. Yes, a ceasefire, as has been discussed in Vienna, is the ultimate civilian protection, but the possibility of safe zones established within Syria is something we absolutely must continue to press for. I continue to be very concerned about the lack of political involvement and stated involvement, notwithstanding what's been said by the King of Jordan overnight, by close-by regional states such as Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. I am continuously concerned about our failure to take our fair share of refugees as part of the EU overall plan. And though I welcome what has been said, by the Prime Minister earlier on, I want to see a lot more than just looking into taking 3,000 orphan children from refugee camps. I want them here in Britain. I will give way.
I'm very grateful to the Liberal Democrat leader for giving way. Why, given he has pressed so much for the government to take more refugees, is he content to bomb that country when the Prime Minister has refused to give that assurance? This is ridiculous.
So, I mean, I think it's important to. I'm going to come on to that in a moment. The reality is simply this. This is a very tough call, incredibly tough call. And a final point I wanted to just press the Prime Minister on is about the funding of Daesh from within UK sources. I am very pleased to hear from the statement made earlier on that there will now be a full public open inquiry. It must cut off that which fuels this evil death cult. So this is the toughest call I think I have ever had to make, maybe ever, and certainly in this House. And what pushes me in the direction of voting for action is, above all things, the United Nations Resolution 2249, which calls for us to eradicate the safe haven that ISIS have, that Daesh have within Syria, that doesn't just permit this country, but urges this country and all members that are capable of doing so to take all necessary action to get rid of Daesh. If we were just being asked to bomb Syria, I would be voting no. I would be out there demonstrating in between the speeches. I would be signing up to those emails and the Stop the War Coalition. But this is not a case of just bombing. This is standing with the United Nations and the international community to do what is right by people who are the most beleaguered of all. I was so proud to tears when I watched at Wembley the other week us English fans singing La Marseillaise, probably very, very badly indeed, but doing it with gusto, standing shoulder to shoulder literally with our closest friends and allies. How can we then not do that today when asked to do something where we are literally putting our money where our mouths are? But if you want to know what's really pushed me into the position where I feel feel we have, on balance, to back military action against Daesh. It is my personal experiences in the refugee camps this summer. I cannot pretend not to have been utterly, personally moved and affected by what I met. I could give you anecdote after anecdote that would break your heart, but one in particular is a 7-year-old lad being lifted from a dinghy on the beach at Lesbos, and my Arabic interpreter said to me, that lad has just said to his dad, "Daddy, are ISIL here? Daddy, are ISIL here?" I cannot stand in this house and castigate the Prime Minister for not taking enough refugees, and for Britain not standing tall as it should do in the world and opening its arms to the desperate like we have done so proudly for many, many decades and throughout our history, if we do not also do everything in our power to eradicate that which is the source of the people fleeing from that terror. We are absolutely under the spectre of a shocking, an illegal, a counterproductive war in Iraq, and that is a lesson from history that we must learn from. The danger is today that for too many people we will be learning the wrong lessons from history if we choose not to stand with those refugees, not to stand as part of the international community of nations. This is a very tough call. On balance, it is right to take military action to degrade and to defeat this evil death cult.